Revolución, and this is Identity Changers app. I'm really excited because it's the first time I actually have down with tons of my, and we've been spending really the entire weekend. You're really watching Jungle because that's what we do. Cheese mess stuff like app, really watching them. But I had the pleasure of meeting each and every one of them throughout this year, and just have them all in one space. It's really amazing. And so, without further ado, starting all the way to my left, I want to introduce Carolina Acosta. She is the founder of Pave. We have Christopher Toller, who is the founder of Sour Apple PR. We got Sonia Smith King, founder of Mixed Up Clothing, and Spicy. It's literally because that's what she is. She's so nice. Mayra Luz Malone, founder of Palestine Rican. And what I want to do is take you up to the football this today. This amazing fact that you guys all do, things like that. As we always started off with a little bit of a backstory, a little origin story, kind of like X-Men. So what I'm going to do is, everyone, if you can, please go ahead and just kind of introduce yourself a little bit, give a little bit about your story, and not as time you guys will start to.
Thank you, like that for having me here. And it's yeah, this is exciting. We're doing this professionally. Usually we're just joking around.
No. So not to way out text or like posting magazine together.
So I'm Valentina. I'm the founder of Those Aims. I created a tabletop game business in 2019, just as a passion project where you create product that's built to both my American side of like loving tabletop games, but also my Latin culture that I'm very self-connected to. And so we're merging the two into a product. Thought like how I was able to do that in a way that hadn't been done before. The year and we found market very quickly, blew up 2019, and have been on a roller coaster of an entrepreneurial journey ever since. This is my first business. My background is graphic design, and that's all I ever knew. So it's just been a very interesting 5 years learning everything. So happy to share all that experience. And we just got into Walmart. So I gotta be talking. So it's been worth the efforts. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, it's passive. I don't think I need it.
Yeah. You need a mic. I thought I knew in order.
Hi guys, my name is Chris Tovar. I'm the founder of Sour Apple Agency, Sour Apple PR. I pretty much started my business because I've seen the lack of representation for creators. Whenever I walk into these roles, whether it be Disney, AT&T, McDonald's, these big brands, right, these big corporations, I notice that, sometimes we don't always get the looks, or we get overlooked, or we're not even in discussion. So, I just see the importance of it, and I just somehow managed to be the guy that people want me to represent them. So, it started my business about 2 years ago, and it just took off. I think people see that I'm genuine. People see that this is really something that I want to impact my culture with. And the beginning is just getting started for me. So I'm excited to be here at the Revolución. Thank you for inviting me, and sitting alongside like-minded individuals is pretty cool. So thank you for having me, guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Sonia Smith Kane. I am a founder and designer of Mixed Up Clothing. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here sharing my story. This is relatively a new spot for me. I actually went to school to be a registered nurse. I was in critical care. So that was actually what I went to school for. I'm Mexican and Black, and while I was working as a nurse, I met my husband, who is Korean. And so living an intentional life, running products that apply to find children, they speak English, Spanish, and Korean. And one of the places I saw some kind of dissonance was in marketing. The Gerber baby didn't look like my kids, the Pampers, all those kind of things. And we would put our kids in traditional garments during, festive wear, the hanbok or the wayarera, any of those kind of things. But I wanted to give them something outside of that. And so I have been sewing since seventh grade. My parents sewed and my grandmother. And so I went downtown to LA and I grabbed some fabrics that either had the Thanos or, Ankara or mud cloth, whatever it was. And I turned them into fun everyday wear. And about 6 years ago, I was on the Today Show as mom of four, started clothing line that celebrates multiculturalism. And my husband was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I think I'm going to leave nursing and start a clothing company." And none of my family had ever been, in this experience. I have no one to turn to ask for advice. How do you put a business plan together? How do you open a bank account for your business? So it took a long time to get here. I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I took a leap of faith, and today we're at Macy's, Target, and going into Nordstrom, the Q1 of 25. So have you also any questions about, getting into large retailers, fighting imposter syndrome, any of those entities? Can you?
Hello, everyone. I am Maya. I am Puerto Rican, and I grew up in Puerto Rico, of course. But I've always been an entrepreneur since I was a little girl. I was selling rosaries in middle school. I had this long entrepreneurship journey before getting here. By the way, thank you for having me. Super excited to be here. And in my early 20s, I started developing a lot of different symptoms, things that I wasn't sure was happening. I was diagnosed with multiple autoimmune diseases. And, I found comfort in nutrition and cooking my own food. Being Puerto Rican, that's a big part of my heritage. I started blending my own seasonings, cooking my own foods, just making them a little differently so I could accommodate to my own needs. Lo and behold, there was a whole community out there looking for the same, looking for support, looking for recipes. And when I started my seasoning line, I thought I was going to sell locally just a couple of batches. Like, okay, I'll serve you guys, I'll make a few. And I found out that people really wanted this product. I went viral a few times. I had to learn real quick how to scale this business. And now after 4 years, we have a very successful business. We sell on Amazon really well. Thanks to some friends that I'm here. And we got into our first retail store in Buffalo, New York, so we're pretty proud of that. And we hope that we get into much more.
So I use them, and it's actually pretty tasty. Except for the no salt one, I can't do that. What was the logic behind that? I saw this, but it's really good. I thought all the salt couldn't make it. I was. Now you're gonna have to, measure and this a really good product. I think one of the reasons that we have the panel is really to kind of get into discussions as to what our life experiences have been in this journey and being able to kind of go through the weapons and stuff and not just ask them. So people kind of understand how, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in here that are doing the same thing. So just a discussion as to what's taking place in your process that you feel has been kind of the defining moment for you. Yeah, no, she's great. She'd be big. So we are mixing it up. I kind of want to go into that because we have so many different varieties and they all kind of mesh it together. When you look at it, you have retail, you have the publicity side, you have the social media side. So when you think about what are the things that kind of elevated your business, what do you think is the most important aspect, from the beginning to now, when that's taking those
The salary. It's changed every year, especially marketing and writing. Anyone who is in e-commerce would understand that. We went viral our first year just by doing Facebook, Instagram ads, and we saw the ridiculous ROI. I don't think anybody sees that anymore. But here's just 7, 8 ads. And that's how we were able to self-fund, just use personal credit card to sell. I mean, I didn't even have at the time, just pre-order. And people like crazy just off of that. And that first year I'd spoken to someone that said, oh, you're just doing that? It's not going to work. Like, you should diversify your market or whatever. And I was like, you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm rich right now. I'm good. And then post-COVID, we find not the same anymore. And so ever since, we've had to get very creative, not just relying on paid ads, but word of mouth. And I mean, that's always been important, but different collaboration, becoming content creators ourselves. But I think the one thing that has stuck around for us is really a community that sticks around and constantly supports. The more we built that over the years is how we've been able to stay in business, either one has had zero ROI, like, for any of the strategies we've had.
What might you think you pivoted in order to kind of go over that first? Like, what did you do specifically that you thought how to get over just doing Facebook ads? I'm sure they talk about social media, they about
Specifically, I think, my marketing, I had a marketing. We stopped spending thousands of dollars on ads, and I think that was the hardest pivot, because once you're used to that, you don't know how to scale down as fast as you're forced to scale up. I don't know if you've experienced that. So at one point there, I'll be transparent, when they spent $20,000 on ads, they won money.
wow.
Yeah. And then to go from seeing zero ROI to then having to scale to like $0 was so difficult. But I think one thing we started doing was shifting our focus to our sales channels and doing more Amazon ads, or specifically having those conversations with retailers. And so I think it was the perfect time to speak to Targeted. And I think once we shifted from not seeing enough return for e-commerce and then pivoting and seeing an opportunity through brick and mortar, I think that's what is able to keep us going. Been better. But yeah, it's been
Oh, that's kind of. You're both at retail, per se, the same type of situation, like.
Yeah, well, for me, I think those numbers are fantastic. I would love to see a return on investment. I think work, right? For me, it's pretty same in small influencers. I just heard on your panel here talking about influencers, and it's really been that kind of support that has got us to our next level. The micro influencer for us has been fantastic. And those are folks like that 5 to 10K mark. So it's parenting, it's those for the kids, it's, aunties, anybody who has like a little kid for us, they'll, I'll pinch them, I'll say, hey, budget is this, you get a product, here's your, influencer code, those kind of things, because what it is for us has been word of mouth. And so coming to it, there's seeing your folks out there in your community and them being able to tell a story and then saying, oh my gosh, I remember that fabric, my, DP stat this or whatever it was, seeing that the connection, they want to help you. And so what is it that we can do together? And it's also finding folks that are in media or, PR, and you're like, hey, can we talk? Is there any way that do you have a client that needs me and I can do this for them? We get seasonings and we do a cooking show and, and then I want to go on a podcast. We all kind of work together, and that's where I've kind of seen our growth beyond, it's kind of had to get really creative for us and really look about what partnerships look like in a post-COVID, kind of market. And also the systems are just really stacked against BICOM folks in retail. I sit with legacy brands at Macy's, right? So the Guess, the Tommy Hilfigers, all those folks. And so they want you to come in the door, but to get there and stay there is ridiculous. So you have to have all your community at the same time, basically, all buying at the same time, and so that the buyers see that there's, you know, movement. And in order to get at that corner aisle, like at Target, you're talking about $50,000 to $75,000 just to get there. So yes, you're in, and if everybody looks at you and thinks, "Oh my God, congratulations!" You're like, "Man,
You knew all you was that
Yeah.
You gotta push 75,000.
So now to get the marketing and all this stuff, so you can get there, but staying there requires you to just kind of think differently, and it's a bit of cut in. So I'm still in the challenge part too. I think it's fantastic, but you know, yeah. So I'm still in that waiting for my viral moment. Like listening.
You got some influencers in the eye, like-
What do I say? Do I fall? Like, do I start dancing? Like all this kind of stuff, you know, like. But you know, so anyway, I'll stop there. But yeah, for me, it's really been about community. It's really been about finding folks that believe and want to see you successful.
I have a question because you're Jimmy. You have a very saturated. Yeah, you have a very saturated market. Like you're right there with, you know, like, all the oil and you know all these major industries. They're out there putting those spices out there. What was your way to attack that in a way that you became successful, or at least, you know, getting to that point where you feel like, hey, now I'm ready to go for it?
Yeah, so I wanted to piggyback a little bit on what they were saying about community, because for me it was a little different story than paid ads. I actually started paying ads 3 years in. Everything has been completely organic. I built a very strong community, very strong word of mouth around me. You know, I think my strongest suit is honestly making connections, is being able to become friends with influencers to the point where I don't have to pay them. They want to promote my brand because they want to see it successful. And I think that's what's helped me get to where I am. And be with the big boys. Like I was talking to Nora here, is my Amazon partner, and we saw how when we launched our sofrito pouch, we got up to number 3 or number 4 in the adobo seasonings on Amazon. And
Number 4. I just want to make it clear.
on Amazon, there was Goya, there was, they were all like
Savatos.
big brands, and there was Healthy American stuff right there at number 10. I'm like, oh my God, wow, we're the big boys. Like, we're swimming with the big boys. So I'm really proud of that. But community has been 100%. I bring my followers with me. I am always super honest and vulnerable when shit hit the fan. I'm writing to them. I'm like going live. Like, hey, this happened. You know, we had a delay. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm super transparent through the whole journey. And I think at this point, my followers think they are a healthy weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're part of the journey, and they want it to, like, they don't even have money in the game. They want to see it win. So, that's really cool.
Curious from your style, because but no, it's different. Like when you're trying to promote it off your own, which is really hard. Like it's super hard. Even for social media, if you're not like social media savvy, like we have grown a social media company, but like I suck at social. Where is like a person and the public relation? Like when is the best time to probably get someone to push with product? Because obviously public relation comes with a cost and so forth. When do you feel that somebody needs to finally go and approach that route?
It's a great question. So a lot of people off the bat assume that you need representation or PR right away. It's not necessarily the case. I mean, if anybody's telling you that, they probably just want to take money from you. From my personal experience, I wait until they have some sort of momentum, some sort of community behind them, some sort of already sales already in progress. A lot of influencers are posting, and you can kind of see the potential in the product or the person. That's when I feel it's time. For me, personally, I don't think there's any secret to what I'm doing. I like to outwork. people. Like that's just my thing. Like I know there's someone out there working hard, so I'm trying to work harder. I don't take days off. I don't like to take vacations. And genuinely also it's being a good person. Nobody wants to be represented by an asshole, excuse my language, right? You guys want someone that understands you, understands what you're going through, understands the frustrations, the mental capacity, like what it takes, right? Because it's a lot to be a creator or to run a business. So someone that comes in understanding, and that's why I relate to what you said, because it's like the relationships is the biggest thing. It started with one influencer, then they told their friend. Now I represented over 50 influencers at one point, right? Podcasts, you name it. If you build something and I see the potential in it, I can help you grow it, 100%. But it's about us having this connection. Because I also got started with just my community, right? It just word of mouth. People, hey, Chris is a great guy. Hey, Chris will actually work with whatever budget you got. Hey, Chris will do this. Chris will do that. Sometimes it's just, I'm just a good person, and I really want to see us at the forefront. I would love to see the entertainment industry proud, right? For me, that's just what I want. I'm born and raised in East Los Angeles, so I'm very deep rooted into my culture, and I just feel like it was my duty to represent these creators, to speak on behalf of them, So, but yeah, I think public relations definitely, when you have the momentum, you have the people support, you have communities behind you, you have some sort of traction. That's when it's time. Form a team, get yourself the right people, put the right people in position, and it's gone. It's gone.
Can I say something? There was something in here that I think it's almost like a tact that you said that you said that you look at what others are kind of talking about and kind of keeping an eye on who's kind of making waves. So for those that are product makers and creators, I think it's important that you have a plan for yourself so that folks like him are seeing you, and then, that's how it kind of goes. So I think one of my plans has always been the influence, so that they're showing pictures, tagging, and then he gets to see them, and then that's how, you continue to grow. It's cool.
But you have an option though, right? Like if you don't have the option of influencers jumping on your stuff, it's a good product, but for whatever reason you're gonna have an addition on the house. What are some advices that you will give based on your experience that has worked without that influencer marketing? Because it's all fun to give the influencer, sometimes they can cost some money. And so if you don't have the money in the beginning, you're sitting there kind of sell, and bees, they don't want us to promote it. Sure. Well, you're still getting you have beans. What's the best way for you to do if you're not in that market?
I think it just goes back to being creative. You have to think, this is your business. You can't just be like, oh, no influencers want to promote me. Okay, well, I guess I'm not going to sell anything. No, figure out ways to touch the community. Go do a give back. Go hit the high schools. Go, feed the homeless. Do something, and that will create the momentum for you. People love to support people that are doing something. I hate to single them out, but Yo Sabo, right? A dope game that they created, right? They wouldn't have been on my radar if it wasn't for social media, right? I started seeing the traction. I started seeing the momentum that they were getting, and I was like, I have to support. I haven't been able to work with them, but just so I can extend my hand down and be like, hey, I like what you guys are doing. If you guys need anything from me, which they know, I'll do it. I like to help people that are helping themselves. Don't just go in with that mentality oh, man, they're not supporting me right now. Don't worry, it will happen. I promise you it will happen, but you have to believe in yourself. Find the ways, there's always a way.
Yo Sabo's in the back row, by the way.
No, actually, I really like your videos too. They're very inspiring. Even now, to what you were saying, I find that kind of hard too with working with influencers, because every year it becomes more mainstream, more, everyone has a price, which fair. So what we've done in recent times is work more with our own community events. We just bring our friends, anybody that's willing to record, because sometimes we have a game that requires you to play a couple rounds. You get into it with the drinks, and then there's storytelling. it's not always like that easy to get that perfect moment for social media. So you don't want every time sometimes have site parts or whatever, it requires a whole game night, which sometimes people don't have the time for. So we try to do our own events. We capture our own moments and like to become our own tech influencers, which we never want to do, but here we are again. And, it does inspire more. So it has the effect that boss. You can't really just be like, oh, wow, you can both things.
I guess I'll kind of think about that too, where I too have to create my own content all the time and be that whole influencer. Like I can sell as much as an influencer can, so, like, you gotta, yeah.
He's like, I can do it.
No, yeah, and if you met me like in high school or whatever, when I was a girl, like people that were with me in high school, they look at me now and why don't you camera and little other stuff? Like you were the shyest girl in with school. Like you never talked anything.
She's not that doing cooking videos, doing
So I like embarrassing myself a little bit, but like because it's what you gotta do.
I know that for entrepreneurship, one of the biggest things is fun. So one of the biggest things that you guys did in the beginning to try to at least get even you grunting, because it's one thing to already have something made and we can
Pieces or whatever it is, that's what a collection is. And so you're hearing about this and you're like, buyers will look at you and you present this way. Well, I don't. This is who I am. So I have to go and so you talk about scaling back. I started with cheap products, so and I grew that. You just have to be very aware of your bank book will tell you how much money you have. So that's as far as you can go. But so you definitely want to just know that it is going to take a lot of money. You're going to be in the negative for a long time. I was, and again, I was trying to get it from my family and my friends, and they were like, "We love you, but and also they may not always believe in me. Like they may be scared. They're more excited about supporting another brand or another this when you're like, hey, I'm making clothes. Like I have my nieces at a baby shower and I was like, Theo makes clothes. Like I don't know why you wouldn't, Anyway, all that to say, it requires you to kind of think out of the box and kind of like you're gonna be able to struggle bus for a while.
to anybody else. Chris, from a PR standpoint, I'm curious as to like how you even got so that we really like, okay, I'm now able to get these different products or these different people on my radar. Like what was your process as you get to that level from PR standpoint?
Yeah, you know what? It was definitely a challenge. Same here. I maxed out my credit cards, put all my money into it because I believe in myself, right? And when you believe in yourself, I guess everyone kind of knows how that feeling is like no stopping you until the bank calls and says, "Oh, my money," right? But yeah, even that, I would work a 9 to 5 while I was building this business just to fund it. So I would do, 9 to 5, and then at 5 I would go to these networking events, mingle, do everything I had to do, represent these influencers, and no one knew I worked 9 to 5, and it was fine that way. And I would just keep working. And sure enough, I was making enough money to quit my 9 to 5, and then now we're here, right? But it's doing the things that you don't want to do sometimes. No one wants to go work a 9 to 5. Everybody wants to have their own business, but sometimes in order to do what you want to do, you got to do what you don't want to do. So.
I think you can forget the fact that 9 to 5 was something we got 40%, which so yeah, because everybody's in business, yeah, but we work twice as hard because we got to think twice as thing happen. So what's the 9 to 5 was for body. And so I know because I had 2 major clients. I was raking in a certain amount of money per year, and then when that went away, I decided to do this like full time, and it has been a journey. So out of me, a journey.
I was aging without a salary almost every day.
And like I'm sitting there for the one day that is sponsoring the side, so do I, healthy weekend, right? And
come over here and be like, I got you. You know, you can sleep in today. But
I got you.
knowing my story, you got to give it. We got to turn around and see how we can live this.
Make that up.
But yeah, I mean, it's a huge, when you think about it from a personal life standpoint, like, just even trying to balance that. And I'll tell you what, like, just seem to be open and transparent, just holding this event and the process of trying to get everything everybody's requesting and trying to make every detail. And, you know, I think yesterday I went all over to 3:40, 7 in the morning. Whoever was a vendor got a message at that time.
3:20.
Which one? Look,
I woke up this morning at 8:45.
And everybody had a map and all that stuff, because that was the time that I could do it. You know, we had a gala here the one night. And I know that my surroundings was up there and said, hey, that's Steve told our else. And then, you know, I would love for people to see, like, what are you doing from a balance perspective? Because I suck at it. Like, I am like 100% work. I make the have, you know, I go above the 100, I get the 2%. I'm off. What are you doing to kind of maintain that balance and give yourself at least some mental health or some grace and start to be able to kind of continue? And yesterday, I'll start with you, son. Yeah, I'll start.
Okay, well, let's see.
You're on the
Started over here. So again, mom of 4. My kids are older. My youngest is where is it? 16. So high school, right? So I've been doing this. This is last 6 years. So the same way you make a business plan and you tell yourself, you know, this is how I kind of want to live my life. I do the same on a family plan. I know. And I told myself, this is the kind of mom I want to be. I want to be like a C+, like B minus C, you know, like I know where I am, right? I'm just gonna pass. And you know, and I have my husband, and I'm kidding, but and all my kids played sports, right? So I told myself, the best way that I can be is, you know, because there's no such thing as balancing and all those kind of things that we strive for. For me, it's about figuring out what the day is like. Sometimes the hour. Like on my way here, I was telling, you know, my 18-year-old, you're gonna pick up the 16-year-old, right? Like, so it doesn't shut off. So, but what I do, I have a plan. I schedule my kids first, and then it's networking in the evenings, it's on the weekends, on weekends. So they know, we all know, you know, if mom needs to know for her packaging, because you know those packages you get that are delivered, sometimes it comes from the warehouse, but it's really our backyard that's holding our stuff. So reality is, like, we're real. I'm keeping it real. My kids are like, Mom, how come you didn't see me hit this, you know, whatever baseball term, you know? And I'm like, I know, I was on a Zoom with, like, that's how we eat. You know what I mean? Like, so I try to prioritize and delegate. I tell my kids on the first day of school, meet somebody whose parents in the carpool lane, and like get a ride, like get a bike, like do those kind of jokes, like, yeah, because I'm not gonna be, I can't be Superwoman. My mom and my grandmother did such you know, they did it, and I love them for it. But when I talked to my mom, she was like, if I had to do it over again, like I would not have, there was no award for being the hardest work you know, mom until you get to see her kids. And so I took that to heart and I said, what is it that's gonna fulfill me in all aspects? And it's watching games, it's having a successful partnership, and it's trying to make a difference using fashion as my vehicle to talk about culture and diversity and centering those conversations. So try to get out of having it all, but get to a point where what is it that fuels me? What is it that makes me happy? I may not be able to go to the birthday party, but you know, so it's a balance. So I'm trying to prioritize your day sometimes. So I would love to be a mom one day. And so I was thinking, would entrepreneurship be easier or even harder than is being a mom? But what I've heard from a lot of entrepreneurs are, it's what fuels you, because we're doing it for your kids, you're doing it for more than just yourself. And so I always think, should I just have a kid?
You should try it. And then when me and Sophie go back to you, we'll read you the real answers in that.
Your marketing team says
She wants to hang out with
the
it.
kids that I come from. But yeah, no, so I guess what I do, because I look very much for myself right now and for my work. And so I spend a lot of time in front of a screen and, on calls, things like that. And sometimes I stop and think, like, am I doing it just because I feel like I'm busy? Am I really making a difference? Or do I just really like what I'm staring at on the screen? But I think over the years, I feel like I've just worked hard since I was a teenager, going to school, going to work, working my hours, just always over the top. And I'm still doing that now, that my body's like, I'm over it. And so I just turned 30, and I think just that switch, I just listen to my body now, and she says, my eyes are over it. Like, go for a walk, go cook something, do not look at the screen. So I had to listen. Hips are not the same anymore, so now I got to stretch and do yoga. I got to do more walking. I got my steps in. I got fit. And so just trying to stay active, because if not, you just stay staring at screens, which was like it's becoming something I really don't want to do for the rest of the life. It's trying to switch it up, not just in business, but anything else that I do.
Fine.
So for me, I'm actually a trained holistic health coach, so it's part of my training to know these things. I still struggle, by the way. But what I remind myself, why did we start a business? Most people start their business because they want more freedom, more time for themselves, more time with family, but yet you're working 24/7. And it's kind of the opposite of what you really wanted. So I prioritized that. And, even though I still struggle with it, I take my mornings for me. I don't work until like sometimes 10, 11, sometimes even noon, because the morning is my time. I stretch, I meditate, I eat good food, I drink my coffee, and that's my time. I start working, I work until like 8 p.m., and then I stop. Or 8 p.m. is my hard stop. Like, I don't do anything after that. So for me, it has been a mindset.
I don't know where art stuff is.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have to train your mind for that, because believe me, I have been there where you just work all day long and you wake up, like, and you just want to keep doing it. But I'm like, you know what? No, like, my health is more important. Like, I got trained as a health coach because my health is important. Like, I just have to take care of my body, because without it, then there's not going to be a business, because my health is not going to be here. So that's kind of like what I keep reminding myself when I do go into that. I can't stop. There's definitely so people and no. At the end of the day, people will understand, and you have to take care of yourself first.
Big massive will give this.
No, I have this.
I went to sleep yesterday. Today wasn't carried.
Want me to first you?
Yes.
But free.
I'll take vacation. That would be good stuff. It's not, we're not at that part yet.
She's right, as your daughter.
We're on a condo. So obviously we're here, I've been here 6 months. What inspire or what inspiration would you give us to why your product specifically represents that? But what have you done for your product that showcases your culture to the communities? I'm gonna start with Melissa.
So, like I said before, right, I started managing and, representing Latino creators. I started with an artist, his name is Ono, and we got him, he's a music artist. So we got him a record deal with Def Jam Recordings. It's a big label out of New York, if anybody's familiar. And Ono became the first Mexican rapper to be signed to Def Jam ever in history. So I was able to accomplish that. And through that, I was just able to wiggle into more doors, right? A lot of companies needed the Latino creators. So I would go to them, like AT&T or McDonald's, and be like, hey, You need Latino creators? I have a resume full of them. Like I have a dictionary, long as hell, full of creators that you can use from small to big. Some of them might not work, but some of them will. Some of them can have less followers, but they'll sell more than this. But if you're looking for the numbers, and here they are. And I've just been able to connect all these creators with big brands, big companies, so they can get paid and live their lives. I've been able to get sponsors for podcasts, and just connect my culture with these big corporations that probably would have never even happened if I wasn't there. So
You should stop.
I'm only getting to say beyond like first. Has to come right over there. We got OBI room. We got So now, what about shoes? I mean, your clothing line is lit. I mean, when you go and look near the picture, you're representing kids in that golden. How important? I've been assuming you and the fashion journey. How important is that for you when you're putting your clothes out? How does that even affect these companies that we're showcasing people color in your clothes as opposed to the next long out there?
And that's, for me, that is what it's about. And for me, I talk about the fashion and healing. And again, stay with me. I was really sad growing up. Like, I came from Puerto Rico, born in Puerto Rico, and then my family moved to Hawaii before coming to Pacoima, where I grew up. And so I felt like we left our culture at the door, and we had to kind of go into this world and assimilate, and they told us what we had to wear, and and I was like, oh my God, Mom, everybody's wearing Guess jeans, and I'm wearing these, whatever it is that you made me, and I was so ashamed. And so now I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give you, everything. Like, I'm gonna give you all of the, the prints that my family wore, and my community, and I'm gonna show you. We have a line of pajamas coming out that have funny lipstick, and it's for it's gonna counter all the Christmas trees, snow bunnies, or whatever that parents put on their kids during the holidays. So like put us on. You know what I mean? Like have a little pastel de cafecito on
Just to
there.
clarify, your
Yeah.
clothes doesn't come with them.
I wish, no, but it's the print, right? So it's the print. And so I want to be able to answer, and ask the question, what is that on the fabric? And I want you to be able to, so on my hang tag, it tells the story of, what is pan dulce? I remember going to the Sierras with my grandmother, picking out the strawberry wine. You know what I mean? And I know there's stories like that. So for me, it's saying, I'm trying to apologize to the little girl who didn't see herself, but that the hope is for the other kids who are like, yes, there's my grandmother's, doily that, was on the table, or, whatever. So we are celebrating the Day of the Dead. Those kind of days that, we all get. And then underneath, I had these ABC shirts. We didn't grow up with A is for apple and D is for this, so I had M's from the frugal, or you know what I mean? Like those kind of things. Like I want you to ask, well, what is it? Like, where does that come from? Like, I want to learn about you, and I want you to learn about us. So I take my cultures with me, and for me, I know it's for you, but it's partly to heal that little girl who did see herself and that wants to bring representation everywhere she goes.
Oh, yeah, well, so for me, when I started as a health coach, I had no intention of bringing any type of product to life. And I definitely had a lot of imposter syndrome because I was in with a bunch of Blanquitas. Like there is not a lot of Latina health coaches out there, and the food is all the same, and and it's like, I just felt like, oh my God, like I don't fit in here. So when I started embracing my culture, and when I started making the Puerto Rican food, when I started sharing that, everything just blew up. I'm like, holy cow! I never even thought of like embracing my culture with like and mixing it with my nutrition, and
it was powerful for sure. And so,
I think authenticity is definitely like a big in any type of business. You have to be who you are, and your people are just in a common.
You're grateful.
And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna actually hand over the phone and you saw the like this Cleveland ask and the question if I'm gonna ask if you found this steak. I mean, not that I can't, I mean, I'll definitely keep talking.
but I want to ask questions, Holland. Not all at once.
Yes, I will. As opposed to no follow.
That's cool.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say it's amazing to hear all your stories. I think all of you are very incredibly successful people, and I think a lot of us look up to you. And I wanted to ask, because I assume that you all fit your 9 to 5, and so I wanted to ask, how scary was that experience when you first how that sort of mentioned how 9 to 5 is comfortable. In reality, it really is, right? It's that basic. It's very comfortable, and so I wanted to know that experience, how it was to officially set it and no longer work. That comfort is on, and yeah, it's something what that tends is like.
Barely happened, Teresa. I wanted to share as a mom of 4 again to leave a 9 to. I mean, well, we didn't work 9 to 5. We did 7 to 7. So as a nurse, so to leave healthcare for your retirement, your 4 kids, always something. So I can have medical insurance. It's scary. But that moment when you see you can have so you have to save, right? So try to get to whatever that comfort zone, and then what they tell you that rainy Sunday or whatever it is, keep going. What is the next? Because you don't know if you're having a product, you don't get paid. I don't know what your net is, but we get net 90 days. Can you imagine? Someone is holding your money for 90 days, and so you have all this stuff. So you have to be able to balance, what is my burn? What is my, what do I have to make every month so that I can kind of calculate, what it is to kind of let go. But the other thing I would say is also, my family had no idea. They went to work no matter what. So to have somebody who left, they're just they don't know what to do. So when I tell you that there could be some loneliness in that, I think that's the part that you have to find company that says, I get you. It is hard. And your family, they want to support you, but I think there's that fear, and I think we talked about it earlier, is they're projecting their fears onto you. And so you have to be so strong. So not only are you have to be financially secure, you got to be be able to get out into the world and be comfortable with it. I may have to go back to it. These 3 months, I thought I was going to get my money, but now I got to Uber for a little while, whatever it is. And so that hustle mentality, it doesn't, just end. So I just want to be clear that you're still going back sometimes and trying to, hey, remember you helped my 20 last week, I need to give that back. Kind of still saying that you have to know to be financially literate, which I think not enough people talk about, because you could put your dog tomorrow, and because your business is doing so well, but you have 1 quarter that doesn't do well, and then you're suddenly thinking about going back to work, on being that position. So while you do have your 9 to 5, think about how else you can make money while your business is going. Just something that's sort of last week. So go to it.
Yeah, but it definitely is scary, I think I quit my job 3 years ago now. And I was put in a position where we talked about my artist, Ono, where I got him the deal at Def Jam, and they told him the first thing we want to have him do, Ono, is go tour Mexico City for 2 weeks. So I'm already thinking, man, how am I going to go on tour with him while I'm working my 9 to 5? I got a choice to make. Do I want to go and jump on this opportunity, or do I want to just keep doing the same thing that I'm doing? So at the end of the day, it's just, you got to believe in yourself. I know I keep saying that, but it's really that. You'll figure out a way to make the money. You'll figure out how to make that money that you lost from that job and offset it over here. You just have to truly believe in yourself. And I know it's cliche to say, right? But it's really that. And sometimes when you work a 9 to 5, you're already putting so much time and energy into that job, you're taking away from building a business. So it's trying to find that balance, because imagine if your business had 100% of your time, you would go way further. So that's what happened after I quit my job. Instead of going to mixers or events after 5 p.m., I was able to do things like this, middle of the day, go grab lunch with you, go meet a label here, go meet a business here, because most of these meetings are happening throughout the day. At 5 p.m., everybody's probably not going home. So if someone tells you, hey, I want to go to lunch with you at 1 p.m., what are you going to say? Oh, I can't go because I'm working my 9 to 5? No. So, I mean, you'll know when it's time, but yeah, it's always going to be scary. And I think, I'm sorry I'm going on and on, but I think our families, they don't understand. I mean, not all of us, right? But for most of us, they don't understand it, right? They don't understand what it is to create a business. All they instill in us is work hard, get the check, take care of your family, right? That's all they understand. So it is going to get lonely, very lonely. They're going to be like, are you sure you're doing the right thing anymore? Maybe you should go back to school. Maybe you should, go back to the job. But you have to just keep the faith, keep believing, associate yourself with people that are thinking on the same wavelength as you. And it's possible. Keep it possible.
What he said.
It's just,
And I want to add, funny, I did not tell my dad that I quit my job until a year later. So you can always just like, oh yeah, everything's great at work, and then not. It's you're working for your business. It's still they don't need to. I don't know. That was I thought just I just stepped it out of petrol.
it's not a lie. It's a different version of this. Yeah.
I was never not there. That was again 2 seconds.
They want our job. We read. It was a read going.
I just want to say congrats. Oh, sorry. You
I don't
don't
know the answer. Happened. My experience is a little different because I was let go. So both of my clients basically downsized the exact same time. And so I was put in a position where I had to kind of make the decision I was getting, am I going to go and go 9 to 5, or am I going to taking something that I'm like truly passionate about? And that decision's hard because I think for everybody here, you start, if you're living with somebody or you work in the synergy with somebody and you're living exploring with others or stuff like that, you're now basically saying, I got to try to do this. And I may not be able to make this amount or be able to make this amount. And so that puts a lot of stress. And then topping a lot with what Chris is talking about, you got constantly family from the outside, like, hey, maybe is it a hobby? Maybe you should think about this, or maybe you should think about that. And they don't see what you see on an everyday basis. And so, like, I had family that basically said, oh, you should probably stop doing this. It's not really going anywhere, this and that, and everything, and all you did, and we're here at Revolution. But, even now, it still is trouble to get into that process. So you're really at one point, you're going to have to make a decision. What really matters to you? Are you going to put your energy into something that you feel is going to give you the longevity and the happiness that you want? Which on the do, even if you have moments where you just like, you know what, wait, come on, do you see now? Or do you want to give that energy to somebody, who may or may not even have your best interests at heart at the end for you? So, I would really analyze that, try to make that decision, because at one point it makes a really big difference, like in your life, how you go forward with other strategies.
All right, now that you said that. I want to kind of tie back into that. How do you guys deal with imposter syndrome that they're working towards a goal and it's been a few years and you still not see the results you want? Like, what do you guys not give up?
For me, it's about, I think we just kind of all set up the why. Just focus on your why. What makes you wake up? What is that thing that you think about, or the problem you're trying to solve, or the service you're trying to bring? What is it that keeps you, that brings you like that joy or that passion or that wanting to change. Again, for me, it's representation. So I'm constantly talking about that. It's just like, I look at things about that imposter syndrome and I'm like, somebody made a pillow and made trillions of dollars, like, or a Snuggie. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're telling me my dream can't, be something? Like I can't. People will come with little plans on a napkin and get funded. So why not me? So why not, yes, I have my family who was like, oh my God, waited until they saw me on a Target commercial before they were like, that's what we'll do, So you have to look in yourself, have to believe that this was meant for you and that you deserve the space and this time and you deserve give yourself grace to make mistakes, hopefully sooner than later, just to know that you discover that you'll be able to just keep pushing through. And it's really about finding a community that understands. And then sometimes it's not homegirls that don't get it. And sometimes, even if you're here at a networking event, almost done. If you're at a networking event, separate yourselves. Like, go in with a mission. I want to meet 5 new folks that are going to put me on to something. And you're like, hey, help me find this person. Like, be out there and be my, publicist when I'm in other rooms, when I'm not there. Just get out there and start talking to people. And I rambled. I don't know.
I think also too, don't be afraid to fail. This wasn't my first business that I started. I threw festivals, I tried to make a podcast, I tried to do a bunch of things. And after failing and failing and failing, I found what I was truly meant to do, which was represent the creators. But sometimes, it might be it, but it might not be it. And it's okay, right? But it's to realize it as soon as you can, figure out, is it working? Is it making me money? Does it fill me up with joy? Does it make me happy? Try to check those boxes, and if not, move on to the next thing. No one's gonna be like, oh, she's not doing this anymore. No, they're gonna support you 100% as long as you believe in yourself. So sometimes, it's just not the right thing, but it's only you will know that. Don't listen to outside voices either, because that's not gonna help you. That's just gonna confuse you even more. But
I want to go on the networking side to just kind of throw a little bit in there, and I want to give an example of how powerful that is. So today we have the community village. There's a bunch of vendors here. There's those 41 vendors that were taking place. And we ran with a lot of red tape, but we had to kind of move kids over and one of the best examples of the networking is the SOC things. The preschool collective people. They, we had one of our sponsors that she thought, well, they put a lot into this, so I'm going to give them their spot. And so they ended up in the spot towards the back of the row. But she got out of there, she was networking. And you'd be surprised who's listening, because she went out, one of our sponsors was Raising Cane's. And she went out and she spoke to Maddie, who's the regional coordinator in this area. And by introducing her business and introducing herself, she ended up getting sponsorships for her t-shirts and certificates for her programs and her kids. And that was just getting up out of your seat and going to talk to somebody new and you just never know what can come out of that. And networking for us has been such a huge part of everything. And so, definitely do that. You gotta get up there, speak to the person, and you can find out what they are. Try to jump into the areas where some of the most uncomfortable situations where you feel like you have to talk to somebody, or so that way you can get a door you may never have opened. And so that's a huge part of it. I'm glad that you mentioned the networking side, because it's a huge part of what we have to do as community stuff. You can share my. It's not like you're biased.
I was just saying, I know this is for healthy. Is it this is for healthy women? Yeah, everyone's healthy reading, right?
Business, it is amazing. You should check it out. You know, we earn and we work, right? And some lessons very powerful. Do you guys have examples of like an expensive lesson in your business where it costs you dollars, but also you like forgave yourself for that, right? It was a good lesson in that conversation. You cut yourself for the first time. It's like, okay, I still belong here, even though I just had an expensive lesson. Did you get to the camper like that?
I'll let you go through some. How many?
Tons. I lose money all the time. I don't know if it, I swear to you, I can save your life while holding a sandwich with my eyes closed. I promise you. I could start an ID, like business. Oh my God, what the heck? The journey for an entrepreneur is like, I hated math, and like that's all you do. Like it's just, anyway. But my mistake was, it was pandemic time period. And I had a big order from Macy's. And so I put everything, I was like, oh my God, nobody's making here in LA and all my, manufacturers. I'm gonna go to the Philippines. And they held my stealth hostage. And so I had over 10,000 units for my first shipment for Macy's that, oh, she does getting filmed. It went extremely well.
This get easy.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing so well over there. No, and I lost it because they wanted me to come up with the next order. Like, it's a manufacturer's thing. So if you just say, hey, I got 10,000, that's all I'm gonna do. They were like, okay, I'm gonna forward your stuff. And so they did. And then, but to get over that, I communicated to, this is the lesson I learned. So now I communicate, and even, I just had to communicate even more. And that's gonna happen. And to an extent, yes, it's a good resource. It's very quick. It helps you credit. But I never rely on credit cards specifically, or just even like half of funding. Give that. I think I relied on it heavily when I knew I was able to, pay them off easily. But when it becomes your only option for funding during the tight months, it's a hole that was still digging myself up. And I just say it as like a cautionary tale. There's so many other ways to get funding for your business. Sometimes we think we can't because we don't look like the other people getting funding, but that's changing. And like you've been saying, if you believe in your business, then someone else is going to it. And there's other not necessarily VCs, but like other investors that are starting to look like us too. And so I think there's so many more ways than the rainforests. Do not feel like, or if you do it, just understand that it's something chaos. Quickly, vitality or those
Very true.
we are always looking at brands. There's so many opportunities for e-commerce, industry specific, regional specific. So looking on the time, I use Hello Alice a lot. I think that's a great resource. They always have brands. There's pitch competitions, which are incredible ways for you to get comfortable with talking about your business and being really confident. I've learned a lot in the last few years doing just that. That friends and family kind of thing is like, it not everyone's gonna have it, but there are angel investors, not so much like VC, hedge fund kind of people. So those are the few that come to mind.
Right. Cost.
But
Should ask somebody about your product.
no, this is true.
I thought about doing this.
So for me, every single time I've messed up and like bad, where I'm like,
That was bad.
is whenever I have that gut feeling and I go against it. Like I always have that little hunch, like, no, that person's not it. It's wrong. It's a wrong, partnership, or this doesn't feel right. I always lose a shitload of money. So yeah, follow. If it doesn't feel right, like just well, I don't know, maybe take a look for a little bit. It's just not. It could be a right partnership, just not right now, right? So, but when I do follow like the good hunch, yeah, like this feels good. It's organic. It's flowing. Okay, things go well. It's only when I'm like, I don't know, stressed about it. I'm just pushing for something so hard, and it's just that it's burning money.
Events. Events. That's the end of it. That's the answer right there. Events. I love doing it, but obviously, you do events and you're taking that risk. You're really trying to put a vision out there. You have to, when PR thinking, trying to sell that vision, you're trying to really promote it. Which just, you're not going to know the answer to that until the actual time of break comes. But like everybody here, we all just haven't stopped. He wasn't at today celebrating people's houses in Walmart, in Amazon, the scene with clothing line, in Macy's. Where you're sitting there, you got representation going on all over the map. Compton Rican #3 on the spot, Revolución, the number one Hispanic Heritage Month celebration. We're going to do this again in October, on October 18th and 19th. We'll be at St. Clark University, right there. So, we'll take those steps. And I think that everybody, was trying to explore entrepreneurship. Let's leave it cancel. It's not, they're in a sugarcoat it. And it's not basically like, unless you're somebody who's got some money passing down, you're going to have to struggle. You're going to have to really take some risks, and you're going to piss off some people on. And then you're going to have a lot of people who are going to doubt what you're going through. And the only way to really kind of sustain it is to be able to kind of come up on top and be able to show it. I think today was probably the only thing that I weird you, like 3 times in one day, which I don't weird to me, and a lot of that has happened because of what the man was going to outgrow product. And when else could I come, with that leads to somebody's listening to your story, sharing it, openly like that. And I would take the chance. I know that sometimes it's not the safe bet, sometimes it's not going to be right at what everybody's saying here. But those are all going to be like learning steps for the next, adventure that you have. And so I kind of want to close it up with everybody kind of sharing like where they can follow you, and where they can go support. We'll start with that.
We're at Thrive Speaking in Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and you can check out our store and our products at thriveoSpeaking.com.
And she's in the babe.
Yeah, we have a little booth, and we're meetings here today and tomorrow day.
Yeah.
My name is Chris. Find me at Chris Sour Apple. My company, Sour Apple Agency. Instagram, TikTok, everywhere.
So, I'm Mixed Up Clothing, so that's where you can find that on social media and you can buy our clothes online, Amazon, Target.com, Macy's.com. I also just want to say, as Yvette, I know it's really challenging. I want to thank you for bringing us with you. I know it's a challenge, and we talked us through it. You should share. When you find somebody who shares that realness, I think these are the folks that you want to get behind. And so when you're out there, go to the booths, go to, on the sponsors like Cane's and like Six, such a wonderful event, so that, when it goes back and you're telling how fantastic the event was, that's one thing that you're in the, organizer, but it's another to hear from the community. So I just always say, go and support somebody and support, our community, because together we different.
I completely blanked out. What
was
the question?
She's thinking about
I
it.
literally spaced out.
She was out. I was like, you okay, man?
Yes, it's come up.
I don't know where I was. No, did I? So you can find me at Healthy Weekend everywhere, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, at healthyweekend.com, and Amazon if you just search quickly for Healthy Weekend, and make sure you look at the bottle that says "Safe to Healthy Weekend."
Wait, they're imposter.
Oh no, it will be
That'd be not opposite too.
no. There's other people use Healthy Weekend as a favorite. That's fun.
Drama.
Oh, it's all about that.
Let that do. You can find me at Latin Babber. That was like the original time name since like the beginning when we started this with process about. For the business side, it's at the Luwafi, and then we have a ton of accounts that can be followed online, whether it's at something Latino, or all primos, something Latino, like little pets. Some other ones that will be coming out that we're still working on.
Replicate that.
I mean, Revolution time for sure. Like, if you're not following that, or you can hear. But tomorrow, you know, the festivities continue. We have full biggest panels. One of our biggest panels is all the was in this town. We have, like I said, the anniversary lap, and Lisa Fidel, they're going to be here. And then Lewis and that great group of therapists are going to be, you know, really talking about some really tough issues and how to really become mental health in the community. So join us for the entire day. If you're interested in the day pass and so forth, let me know. We'll set you up so that way you can come and spend the day with us. And then at night, if you know friends, please, you want to sell out the comedy show. Bring out as many people as you possibly can so that we can have a huge party here in a celebration as we on the festival finale for the Revolution. And we always end it with comedy, laughter. It's a cure for a lot of things. And so we always feel like, why am I never running? It's big. So it's time to be really intro at the end. Jose, Danielle, Sephora, who's known thing. So, but thank you for joining us here tonight. And let's gather and network with these amazing entrepreneurs and those that are in the scenes now. And again, we'll see you tomorrow and on Revolución. Have a great day.